Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Titan Race is a racing game of monsters going through this track to see who can get through it the fastest. I have no idea why these monsters are doing it, but man, they didn't want to fight. They wanted to race, but they end up fighting. So you're going to have this one board they're going to go through 3 times and do 3 laps of the same board. The game has a lot of things going for it that are very interesting. For example, every monster has a different variable power. Great. Each board you play on plays a little bit differently. Some have ice where you slide. Some have a lava that will hurt you. There's a pirate one where they steal your booty. They steal your bonus cards from you. So everyone plays a little bit differently, and every board plays a little bit differently. So a lot of variability. If you feel like, oh, I've done that before, try something new. There's also a variant that's pretty cool. If you're going to do 3 laps on the same board, that maybe you'll do 3 different boards. Maybe with the fire, the ice, and a pirate one, and you go through those 3. And that's optional. And that's a way to play it, but it does take a little bit more table space. And one of the things that's great about this game is the portability. If you want to play in a pub or you have a very small table, you can do that. Now, the components are kind of a hit or miss for me. I think that the miniatures are fine for this type of game, but they're not going to stand up probably to miniatures that you're used to nowadays. The cards are really good quality. I like the art in it. I like the boards. They're very bright. The game looks very good. It's very vibrant. So there's a lot of good things going for this game. This is one of those games I'm going to put on the list of good games you never heard of. And basically what this means is this is not a game that got a lot of traction. It didn't get a lot of pub. But it's a very good game. I think a lot of people are going to get it. Now, I'm going to purge this game. And you're like, wow, you're singing the praise of this game. It's got variable powers. It's really fun. It's got dice drafting. It's got all these things I like in it. Why are you getting rid of it? Quite frankly, I don't have anybody to play it with. And that happens sometimes. Twilight Imperium is a great game. But if you have nobody to play for it, why is it on this shelf? Why do you have it? Let somebody else enjoy it at a discounted price of selling it used. And I feel that way. So Titan Race is a game that I actually really enjoyed, had a really good time with it. I just don't have anybody to play with right now. So while it's neat, it's exciting, it does have some negatives. One of the negatives is I feel like, don't crucify me for this, but that it has a runaway leader problem. Once you kind of get going, if you get ahead farther enough, people can't really catch up to you. There's no catch-up mechanic other than everybody attacking you, right? Which slows them down. Also, sure, that's a viable strategy in a lot of these games. It may go on a little bit too long. It may last a little bit too long. It feels like it's about a lap too long, but you need that so somebody can catch up. You need that for the variability of what you're doing and to give some substance to the game. So there is that. Overall, this is a very good racing game. I'm surprised people don't talk about it. If you're looking for a racing game and you like monsters and you're looking for something that might have a little bit of combat in it, excellent choice. This one plays really great. It's not a perfect game, but it's a very, very good game and one you likely never heard of. While it's a purge for me, it's one I still absolutely recommend. Titan Race, you can see the battle of all the different Titans on the front. Gives you a pretty good feel of what's coming up. Get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few. You're going to get these different boards that you'll be able to utilize. You can see they're double-sided depending on what. And it looks like a mess here, but when I explain it, they're very easy to use. You're going to get some of these dice. They're going to be cut into this, so this isn't painted on there. Although there is some coloring, of course, but it is engraved in. We're going to get these little miniatures for each of the different Titans. They're super cute. I don't know that they're detailed enough that you'll want to paint them because the colors, you kind of need them to boost off of it, but you definitely could if you wanted to. They all have different shapes because they're different Titans, but they're nothing to write home about, but they're good. You're going to get these hard cardboard boards. These will be for the players and who you are. You can see they have different number of hearts on them, etc. So they're going to play all a little bit differently with powers. And then you're going to have a small deck of cards. These cards are okay. Yeah, they're fine. Not the best quality I've ever seen. You got some nice artwork, some bright colors on it, which I like. And these really super small tokens. I mean, these things are really tiny. Not a huge fan of anything that's tiny, but they are fairly thick for what they are, which I guess they should be being that thin, but they're okay. I like my stuff to be a little bit larger than that. The cards are tad thin. You might want to sleeve these if you're going to play a lot. Overall, the components are fine for such a small box and moderately priced game. So here's a rulebook for Titan Race, a picture of the front of the box. Going to get a picture of the contents here, although it doesn't really tell you what is what, but you can definitely figure that out. The concept and the goals set up here with a picture with the basic concept of the game. Then you're going to kind of learn about the movement rules, how that works, and then how a game turn will work and the possible actions that you have, what all of the dice do, the abilities. Each different character or Titan's going to have a different ability that it can do. And then kind of the bonus to change your actions, some little small rules on how to end the game and how to win. Then the description of each of the boards, because each of the boards are going to play a little bit different here. And a variant for the different players. You can play 2 players, teams, or the Grand Slam where you have 3 of these set together. Rulebook is fairly easy. I didn't have a lot of problems from reading the rulebook. I think you can read this probably in 15-20 minutes. Be ready. You're going to refer back to this page, this section right here with the dice and what the abilities are. I think you'll have this open quite a bit. A player aid might have been nice, but it's all right here and easy to consume. Set the game is very easy. You can play a board, choose whichever one you want. They all play a little bit differently. I'll go over that. Shuffle up your bonus cards. Each player will get their little card, their player, a heart, and their little miniature, and you're going to get 1 bonus card that you'll add to your hand. You will take a number of dice per players that are playing, and now you are set up and ready to go. Now, quickly, you can see on the board here, there are numbers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 on up, and then up and down, there are going to be letters. So B, D, F as you go across. So it's just a grid with kind of pictures and things put on top of it. Now, the player's always going to start here at the bottom with the numbers and work their way up. And it kind of works like a Pac-Man board, where if you go off the side, you come on the other end, and you're going to be going all the way up, back down to the bottom, and so forth as you complete the laps. Down here, you're going to keep track of a number of laps that you have, and then when you get to the requisite number of laps that you're playing to, you will win the game if you're in first place. So when you're on the board, you will always advance forward. You can't advance back. Now, there are a few terminology you need to know that when it says before, this refers to the spaces in front of you, 1, 2, 3, etc. And behind you would be the spaces behind you. So you're always facing up. That would be before, and then you will look behind you for behind. Now, that seems pretty straightforward, but you know it could come into question. You could turn your thing, which you can't do. So it's always before and behind. Now, as for adjacent, it will always be the ones around you. So there's going to be 6 spaces that are always adjacent. Before is 3, behind 3. So what's going to happen is the first player is going to roll the dice, and you're going to kind of draft these. So you're going to choose which action you want to take, and you will put it on your board. Now, at the first play, players will choose where on this they start. So let's say they want to start here, and maybe another person would want to start here, and they would draft their die. Maybe this person would say, hey, I want to choose to start here, and they would draft their die. And then this person may want to start over here, and they would draft their die. So you're going to be drafting the dice as you go, but in the first round, everybody's going to choose which of these lines they're going to start on. So on your turn, you're always going to take the action that you draft. You may use your special power, and you may use a bonus card, 1 single bonus card, if you so choose. So the dice are going to have a few different sides on it. They're very easy. So the 2 arrows up means you would move 1, 2 spaces up towards the direction that you're going. This one with an up and an arrow over, you move up and 1 over, always moving forward. There is also the 3 arrows. There's also the 3 arrows that you have, where you can just move 1, 2, 3 up in a row. So if you were, say you're here, you go 1, 2, 3, and you would move diagonally such. The one here that I had selected, so you would move up 1 space, and then you would leave a trap behind you for, hopefully, for your enemies. You're also going to see this, where you would, let's say you were down here, and maybe somebody was up here, you can move 1, 2 spaces. Anybody in these 3 spaces you can do a damage to. And if somebody takes a damage, they just move kind of down on their tracker here. So that will allow you to kind of hit other people. And then you have the wild one, which is the purple one with like the heart, which allows you to choose the face of any other die. After doing so, then you would lose a life point. That's what the heart signifies, that you would lose a life point of the heart. In addition, each of the characters are going to have a special power. So inflict 1 damage to any adjacent Titan and gain a life point. Kick off a Titan behind you in order to advance a space. Swap places with an adjacent Titan. Inflict 1 damage to each of the 3 spaces before you. Place a trap on an adjacent space and move an adjacent Titan 1 space in any direction. So every player, so after you take an action, you could play your card. So you're going to have one assigned to your character that you can utilize, but I wanted to show you what each of them did. And then finally, you can always play one of your bonus cards if you so have them. Let me go over a few of them. The nearest Titan ahead of you in the same column moves back a space. If he pushes, you lose a life point. Inflict 1 damage to the nearest trap or titan in the same column. Place a trap on adjacent space. So these will just allow you to do things to kind of mix things up as you're playing the game. So after you draw the dice, you must use your die. You may use your power, and you may use a bonus card if you have one. The traps will be all over the board. They're pretty easy to understand that if you go on a spot with a trap, you're very easily going to just lose one of your health points. If you ever get to the bottom, then you die. And if you die, you basically just go on the side. You're going to miss a turn. You come back up on your next turn, and then you're ready to go. Per normal, you would get your health points back, but you will miss out on that turn. It's also important to point out that each of these levels will do something different. In this regard, you're going to have the lava spaces that you can see on the board here with the flames. And as soon as you enter one of those, you immediately lose a life point. So they're all going to play a tad differently. On this side of the board, you're going to have the effects of the circuit, which are the explanation points. Whenever you go on one of the pirate spaces, the pirates attack you and you must make a choice. You can either discard a bonus card or you can lose a life point. Then you're going to have the circuit boards. We're going to have the effects, which are these arrows right here. Whenever you're on a ramp space, you move in the direction, you can jump and move at a free spot. And there's super ramps and multi-ramps, but this will have a lot of jumping on it. Now on this side, you're going to have the big question marks that will come up. And whenever you end your movement on the pentacle, you re-roll your die to perform an additional action. But re-rolling you costs 1 life point. So it's going to be a little bit of a bonus that you have there. Then you're going to have the green area, which is the ruins of Bangkok. When you move onto a fire statue, which are these places right here, it triggers a fire blast and inflicts damage to the 6 adjacent spaces. So the spaces around it will have life points lost. And then finally, the icy plains. When you enter an icy space, which are these spots, right here with the little arrows on it, when you enter those spots, you slide and stop your movement on the first space. It's not an ice space. You get a little extra movement on that one. Now, there are some variants in the game that you can use where you're going to go through these a number of times. You can use different maps if you want to have, different types of maps. But normally, the normal game, you just take one map and you go through it a number of times. You get off the top, you come back to the bottom, and that will trigger how the game is played. Who should buy this game? If you're looking for like a combat racing game, you like that Twisted Metal type stuff, this has it in it. Lots of variability in the boards, lots of variability in the player powers. Very cool package that goes together, and one I think a lot of people are going to like. If this is one you miss, it's one I actually recommend you tracking down. The monsters are played not too scary, so you can play it absolutely with little kids. It's not going to be a problem unless your kid is very sensitive to these things. It's family weight games, very easy. It could even be a filler, easy to pick up. If you really want to play 1 lap or 2 laps and not the full 3, you absolutely can. You can do the variant of putting them together. It's a 2-player variant, but I probably don't recommend this as 2 players. I think the chaos of having more people attacking is where this game is going to shine at the higher player count. So if that fits you, I absolutely highly recommend this, even though it's going to be a purge for me. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing.